Need an opening for this. What's the best way to open this? Who am I kidding? What's going on, you guys? Kensou here again. Another video. You already know what time it is. Back in the building. Moving forward, I want to talk to you guys today about a new update for Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R. Plus R is the update to Accent Core, obviously, and it features all kinds of updates to the original game, but the cool thing now is they're introducing GGPO. If you know what GGPO is, it is one of the better netcodes that's there for Fightcade, and I think there's another one that's out there, but I know it's for Fightcade. GGPO netcode is basically rollback netcode, essentially. And it's pretty neat that they're doing that, because I was very concerned about that, in the sense that SNK was already doing this with 2002 UM. You know, a lot of people have been enjoying themselves on that beta, so I was hoping that ArcSys would do something like that too, and lo and behold, here it is for Plus R. So I'm really happy to see that. So yeah, it definitely brings in more faith in ArcSys, which is phenomenal. It is definitely something that has been on my mind for quite some time now with Strive. You know, they haven't really talked too much about netcode. They've just been saying, you know, we hear your concerns, but there's nothing, like, we have nothing to really go off of. So this is a great way for them to test that netcode with this game and really iron it out little by little. And the cool thing is, right now it's just the Steam version, so they're gonna have a little beta. I believe that's pretty soon. But that is, it's just such good news. We need that so we can test it and give them actual feedback, because I thought that, well, maybe they would do another, you know, beta, you know, stress test with their online with Strive. Instead, they're using it with Plus R, which is an already finished game, and there's going to be some added features and things like that. So again, like, that's beautiful. it's definitely beautiful. Like, I'm so happy to hear that. So with that being said, is this the game everyone is gonna play before Guilty Gear Strive? That's the real question, right? Is Plus R gonna be the game that everyone is gonna play before Strive, right? That's the question. My opinion of Guilty Gear AC Plus R is, I'm not gonna lie, I've said this countless times, I am like an ST player, Super Turbo player for Street Fighter when it comes to the HD remix. You know, I think it's kind of cool, but it's not what I'm used to. I feel the same way about Plus R. Like, I think it's a great update to Accent Core, but you know, I came up with Accent Core vanilla, and I didn't really get into Plus R like that because it kind of came out late in the game alongside many other factors. But I definitely think it is a good game. They rebalanced a lot of things and kind of made the game a lot more, you know, it's definitely a lot more balanced. One of the major things about Accent Core is that, like, a lot of characters have like a lot of crazy stuff, and it kind of balances itself out. So they just kind of added more to the crazy and retuned some characters to try to make them better and make them more playable, which is definitely great. So Plus R definitely does a lot of things right. But I know that it's kind of not for me. Who am I kidding? I'm definitely willing to give it a second chance, you know, especially right about now with the new netcode. Definitely want to give it a second chance. Plus R does have some exclusive characters to it that are not in Xrd and that are not currently featured in Strive. For example, Abba, Robokai, Cliff, Justice. You know, there's like a plethora of characters that are just not in Xrd and in Strive. So I think there'll be something there for a lot of people, especially for people who want to see more about the legacy of Guilty Gear and the characters that were in the games previously before Xrd and now the new Strive. So I think that's really cool. I think people will probably find a lot to unpack there. The interesting part here, though, is going back to the initial question: is this the game everyone is going to be playing before Guilty Gear Strive? Because on one front, you could say, well, why would I go back and play that? Obviously, the netcode is, the netcode buff is nice, and that's definitely something to go back for. But why go back there when I can play Xrd, right? Xrd should be closer to Strive, right? Well, when you kind of compare and contrast, Xrd and AC are a little bit closer to each other. Obviously, system mechanic wise, there's a lot of similarities as opposed to Strive. Strive is pretty much its own thing at this point. There are some things it does borrow from Xrd, and only so much. And it's the same thing here with AC plus R in comparison to Xrd. It's kind of an interesting take here. Is like, what should you focus on? Should you focus on this one or the other one? Well, the truth of the matter is you can play either or for your enjoyment and for your practice, but I think the most important part is to have the better online experience. I think you get the better online experience playing, plus R. I mean, it's something also the plus R community has definitely been kind of clamoring for. They kind of did it on their own. They were kind of working on it on their own, and now here we are with this, which is phenomenal. So it's kind of like another way of I guess in a sense, keeping the essence of old Guilty Gear alive through this. And I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll come back and add this for Xrd. That'd be great, especially if they get it down. So I think for a better experience, playing online with friends and things like that, I think you'd probably be better off with plus R. Not to mention plus R tends to be pretty cheap. It tends to go on sale on Steam a lot. Sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $2, sometimes it's $1. I think I've seen it at $1. But the point here is it's definitely a cheaper game to play. Financially, I think you'll have a better online experience than you will with Xrd, because Xrd is delay-based netcode, and delay-based netcode right now is something that we're trying to stray away from, for fighting games right now. A lot of the games that have delay-based netcode, they don't always yield the best experience when playing online. So I think that's why I'm pushing towards plus R. Now, don't get me wrong, plus R is still an old Guilty Gear game, which means there are some technical things you have to learn, like, blue Roman cancels, which is similar to the YRC mechanic in Xrd, where basically for 25 meter you can cancel out a move, but in AC plus R, it's on a certain area of the move, like within a certain frames, like you can cancel out this move. It's like that in Xrd in the same way, but it's more freeform. Like you have a lot more control over it, so it opens up more creative aspects of it in Xrd, whereas to AC it's fixed. So those are kind of differences there, and there will be caveats to that, but in general, I do think that playing the older Guilty Gears will kind of help you understand the system a bit more. I do think that there's a lot to be said about the older Guilty Gear games and going into Strive, and I definitely think plus R is kind of like the move at this stage. Again, rollback netcode. We've been asking for this for so long. We're finally getting it in something Guilty Gear related. So now if this goes well, you can only imagine Strive is just going to be, even better. It's going to be something that they've worked on it from plus R, they've refined it, specifically the Steam version. This is mostly where this is being taken place right now, right? So the Steam version, they can keep updating it. Because I should mention that too really quickly. The Steam version being the version to play is good because Steam, I believe they don't really have to pay some, ginormous fee like the consoles to update their game through their services. On Steam, I feel like they have a lot more control. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a fee, but I'm pretty sure it's not as strenuous as the console version. So again, they can keep updating, which was something that I saw with 2K2 King of Fighters had updates on a regular, every hour on the hour. They were just patching and patching and patching. So this definitely gives us a great way to give feedback and so forth and so forth. So yeah, I can't stress it. I think plus R actually might be the move. Even I'm willing to give it another chance and try to play it for what it is and enjoy myself, because I definitely want to play Guilty Gear and play it on what's the best netcode, and it is definitely rollback. So is this the game everyone should be playing before Strive? Probably so. It's definitely a good way to get your feet wet definitely a good way to get your feet wet and learn a little bit more about older Guilty Gear. The date in which this will be taking place, they're going to be conducting public testing from October 29th. That's not too far from now, actually. That's actually 10 days, because this is October 19th when I'm filming this. Really bright and early in the morning. So definitely jump on it. If you can find Plus R for cheap, I'm sure you can find it cheap on Steam. I'm sure you can find, definitely sure you can get it cheap on Steam. It's normally not that expensive. So get it, give it a try, and it's a big vast roster, man. Give it a try, you guys, okay? So again, October 29th, be on the lookout for an update for Plus R. That's gonna do it for me. Just want to update you guys with this information. That was very important for you guys to know. As you guys know, I've been covering a lot of Guilty Gear. You know, Guilty Gear, I love me some Guilty Gear. So more Guilty Gear stuff on the way. Hopefully you guys have a blessed day and all the other good stuff. Don't forget, typical YouTube jargon, subscribe, like, hit the bell button, all that good stuff. Get notified when we get new content, because I'm keeping the Guilty Gear train rolling as much as I can, okay, you guys? So keep it locked here for more Guilty Gear content and other fighting game content as well. Take care. Deuces, gooses.